Getting to the bottom of the hate, the rise and fail of the Never Muskers. Yeah, the big Never Musk movement. That's what we're talking about. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. So what's going on, man? Do you know this is the full version that goes out on Friday on the second channel, My Tesla Live? Or it's the condensed version you're seeing over the weekend on the main channel. It's whichever one you prefer. If you like more chat, come and check us out on Fridays at 7 p.m. because we do this. A quick thanks to newest patron, Greg Miller. Thank you for your support. It is folks like you who quite literally keep the channel running. So what are we talking about? Buying a Tesla, even if you think Elon is a total D-bag? I'm in the market for a new EV, and I was talking to a buddy of mine at work, and I casually mentioned looking at Teslas. He said he could never sink $90K into a vehicle, 90, where the company's owner is such a... Did anyone buy a Tesla knowing that they didn't agree with the philosophy of the owner? Come on, man. By the way, how am I looking and sounding? Everything good? Gotta let me know that. Ins the chat. Top answer, and this is in the electric vehicles subreddit. Not a place particularly friendly to Elon and all things he does. Electric vehicles, pretty hostile. Top comment, you aren't marrying the man, you're buying a car. People refuse to buy Amazon due to their obviously terrible work conditions. Others have deleted Facebook due to dubious privacy concerns. You can boycott a car company if you don't believe in its values. It's not like there aren't alternatives. And there aren't. There are alternatives. Some are faster, some are cheaper, some have longer range. None really have both, or several, or all of the above. That would be quite an amazing car. In the future, I'm sure we'll have that. I'm sure most car companies' CEOs are complete perks, but only one of them loves to troll on Twitter. So that's the thing. He's visible. Being visible, I'm sure you would not like. There are people I have met who I like very much online, only to find that for some reason or other, they are disagreeable in person, and vice versa, where I don't care for them online, and then I meet them and they're great. Mary Barra, let's look at the alternatives. Mary Barra sided with the prior administration to dismantle economy and fuel economy and emissions laws. Toyota, biggest donor to bad Congress members, lobbies to kill EV incentives and fuel economy regulations. Nissan CEO escaped a Japanese prison in a crate smuggled by a private extraction crew. VW, Dieselgate, Tennessee union busting. Honda saved a few bucks by using bad airbags. Everybody did. They didn't mean to. And for that matter, let's just buy a Hyundai, because then we're only supporting child labor in America. He can be a jerk, but I can get a car with the most efficient, and NASA saves billions by using renewable rockets. So this is all stuff. Ever heard of Steve Jobs? Henry Ford? Yeah, jerks. Disney too? Yeah. So what's this all about, man? What's this all about? I'll never buy one. I'll never buy one. Well, most of the people that you see making these wonderful claims, if you just click on their account and look into it, you'll find that they're not actually in a position to buy a $90,000 car or a $65,000 or $60,000 or $55,000 car. They're doing whatever the opposite of virtue signaling is. Vice signaling, I guess. Why do people buy a Tesla? It's not because of Elon Musk, according to a survey. So in this study, they brought in about 1,000 people. Not just for the survey, but in focus groups too. And they found that a lot of people bought it despite him. Some people really liked him. But really, the reason people are buying the cars is because they're good cars. And you can argue that. You can say they're not good cars. But most of the people who say that have not driven one or owned one. And, I did see one guy say, well, I bought a 2019 Model 3 and I am selling it. Great, you're going to make a profit. If you really don't like the car, you came out ahead. That's a heck of a deal. As for Musk owners, Tesla has a lot to say about him. Tesla owners have a lot. While some of it was negative, largely related to views he expressed on Twitter, they felt his contributions to the firm and their cars outweighed those negatives. But you know what? Let's pretend for a second that people actually will stop buying them. Let's pretend that. Tesla's price cuts for its EVs in China might increase sales by 40,000 units in Q4 alone. It doesn't take a big discount to reach a new level of demand. So this is why I'm saying, you demand. You demand. Yeah, looking at these charts, the average price decrease, according to Troy, about 5 to 9% off, 5 to 10% off. 5 to 10% made it so big, the demand so big, that the website crashed. The website was unavailable. There have been reports of people canceling orders that they had placed with BYD and NIO because, man, if the price is that close. So you individually don't have to buy one. And you can absolutely vote with your wallet. You don't have to. But that's not where we're at yet. Elon's kind of cyclical that way because he is, as my little note over here says, a-hole personality. And yeah, he does have a-hole personality. He rubs some people the wrong way. In the pre-show chat, we were saying how a lot of people dislike him because he says the truth. Yes, there are also people who dislike him because of how he says it. And there are people who dislike him because of who he is, through no fault of his own. People are saying, well, he's an apartheid baby. Right. We don't choose where we're born. And as soon as he could, he left the country. Well, his dad married his stepsister. Yes, but if you were to hold me accountable for all the terrible things my father has done in his life, I'm sure, and my mom for that matter, whoa, that would say more about you than me. So don't do that. The demand is very high, and you can always nudge it a little more when you need to. The clever thing they're doing in Germany is the EV credit, the very generous EV credit, is about to be cut dramatically. So what Tesla's going to do is say, hey, place your order now. If the order comes in now and we don't deliver it until next year, we'll make up the difference on the EV credit. This is a very quiet, very subtle way of lowering prices a little bit temporarily. So the prices won't go back up. They'll stay up. You'll just lose this little discount. This is going to drive a lot of reservations in the Berlin market, in the German market. So yeah, he is a whole personality, but you can do stuff to get around that. How popular? Well, let's look at his fame. Very high, of course. 93% of respondents have heard of him. Who are the other 7%? Okay, popularity. That's what we're looking at here. Let's look at it over time. It was up to 40. It was up 42, 44, down to 40. A 10% drop in a single quarter. Yeah, but more people know who he is. And really, I would have thought it's less than that based on the hate you see online. You got to wonder where that's coming from. But again, his popularity is really not that bad. And the younger you are, the more you like him, it seems. But this is going to further to his personality. Quitting Elon. His former fans have lost faith in the idea of the billionaire genius. I guess. Now that he owns Twitter, first, he's much richer. Second, he has a fervent, extremely online fan base, kind usually reserved for boy bands, and this fandom has helped propel the incredible success of his companies on Wall Street. So yeah, some people have cooled off on him a bit. He's done things I don't care for, but that doesn't impact. I would still be very excited to meet him and interview him. I still support him and his companies, even if I disagree with some of the things he does and says. That's, I think, healthy. I think that's normal. Yeah, he's failed to live up to the larger-than-life images he has long presented. Has he, though? I think we just expected, just like Tesla's doing 50% year-over-year growth, maybe we expected his persona to grow 50% year-over-year. That can't really happen. He's already kind of maxed out. He's at 93% known. That's kind of a big deal. But let's look at, again, the demand issue. Days of inventory available. It got up to a high of 48 days of inventory in 2017. I think those were all S and X at the time. but it's been very low ever since. This doesn't show Q3. I didn't grab the correct one, sorry. But it's still very low days of inventory. As long as the days of inventory are low, extremely low, that means that there are not that many people who really do hate him that much, that they will never, never buy one of his cars. You know, I've had strongly held beliefs about companies I absolutely despise that I softened up on over time. And Elon himself is likely to, he goes through phases. He goes through phases where where he acts out a bit. He goes through phases where he just works all day. He goes through quiet phases and noisy phases. We're in a noisy phase. That'll subside over time, for sure. Let's check the comments real quick, see how we're doing. Scott wisely pointed out that he'll never buy one Tesla. 2 or 3 maybe, but not one. Very good move. Well played. So we're still waiting on some stuff. Let's say you really won't buy it. Let's say demand really does fall, which is not showing signs of yet, but let's say it does. We've still got the semi-truck coming, like immediately, like imminently, like they are in production now and they will be delivered shortly. We've got a little product, I don't know if you've heard of this one. It's called the Cybertruck, I think is what it's called. Can't remember. It's a pretty forgettable vehicle. When this enters production, they're going to sell a lot. Well, but those 2 million reservations, most of them are fake. Maybe putting $100 down is not a huge commitment, but there are people who bought 10, 20, 50 reservations, hoping that RoboTaxi would be ready in time. If you're one of the first 50,000 and you've got 10 reservations, are you going to buy all 10? Yes, because you can flip them for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 profit each. The people who saw this and got in on day one with multiple reservations, visionary. I lacked that vision. I regret it. It's crazy. So the demand, there are demand pools we haven't even gotten into yet, to say nothing of a compact car or a van or some other form factor that's not here yet. The Roadster, it's only going to sell, it's going to be a limited production kind of thing, at least by Tesla standards. So that I'm not really talking about. So now the question is, FUD for cash. Who's hating hard on Tesla today? No, not the wonderful series by James Stevenson, which is wonderful. He's great. I enjoy. He's been on my channel a couple times, and I enjoy hanging out with him in fake by listening to his stuff. So who's hating? Do you know there's good money in hating? There is. Brand management reputation in the age of social media is a big deal. You can hire companies to do things like, well, just respond, just have a rapid response team is really all we're talking about. But if you ask them, can you make some comments in support of whatever it is I'm saying this week, downplaying whatever it is that happened, the answer will be absolutely yes, we do that all day. Remember the doctor who was kicked off the flight, who had his face bashed in by police who were under the impression that he was some kind of unruly passenger when all he said is, no, I'm not giving up my seat. The brand management that came out of the woodworks to try and mitigate that one was breathtaking. People were defending the airline saying, oh, they had every right to treat him the way they did, to cause significant physical harm to an elderly doctor on a flight who had done nothing wrong just because they overbooked. No human believes that. But there were dozens and dozens of these accounts with not much history defending it. And everybody does that. So if you look at the Fortune 500, what kind of companies do you have? Energy, retail, insurance. These are ranked by number of firms. All kinds of industries. If you're upsetting someone in energy and utilities, they're going to hire a misinformation campaign, likely, Maybe not all of them, but certainly one or two of the 61. If only 10% do, that's 6 firms dedicated to misinformation, to saying things that are demonstrably untrue. And they know that Elon is a universe unto himself, so that if you don't have to attack his energy products, you can attack his cars, his spaceships, his boring tunnels, anything you want, and it all flows out over the entirety of the umbrella. So who is he disrupting? Energy and utilities, for sure. Insurance, industrial manufacturing, consumer manufacturing, computer hardware and software, auto transport, telecommunication, transport, aerospace and defense, business services, metals, and mining. That is a big, big chunk of the biggest 500 companies in the world. Well, then he acquired Twitter, so we should add financial services, because he does want to bring in a WeChat kind of pay service, like is popular in China and other parts of the world. In Africa, people don't use banks as much as they just pay with their phones. That's coming. Thus, banking, leisure, I mean, it's your time off, why not? And your car, why not? Media. And, so there's probably more on this list you could argue. Education, we might be tackling that. I don't know if that money has come out of the woodwork yet. Consumer services, maybe, There's a lot. There's a lot of companies with money, and that's to say nothing about entire countries. Russia does not like him, and they have a well-known troll farm because he's negating their need to sell oil, their ability to sell oil. He's stolen their entire payload delivery business, their whole industry. And then, of course, he provided Starlink in Ukraine. Not super happy about that, and that flows back. But it's not just paid actors. So, well, are you calling me a paid? Are you telling me that I am paid? Where's my check? No. Maybe you're not paid. Maybe you're a useful idiot. That's a real thing. It's people who are easily propagandized. And especially on social media, you will find no shortage of them. The Tesla Q folks, those investors almost universally have very new, very small accounts. They're burners. These aren't real people. They're transparent. But I've met these people in real life. And I'm not saying you're getting paid by someone. I'm saying you should be, because you're doing their bidding for free. You, my friend, are a useful idiot. Not you. Not you. If you're watching this, you know better. Yeah, how online Samaritans is adding fuel to the fire. These online misinformation campaigns cannot succeed without organic people taking up the mantle and running with it. That's why the airline had such a hard time pushing their side of the story, that clearly this old man was some kind of danger, some kind of menace to the sky, is because nobody was buying it. They picked up no useful idiots. Maybe a troll or two who agreed that bad things are good. But this stuff is easy. Hating on Elon is easy. It's sexy. Oh, his cars are junk, says the person who's never owned one. Well, my friend bought one, and he had 3 problems with it in the first 3 years. Yeah, I've bought... So you've never bought a car before. New cars have flaws. Even expensive new cars have flaws. You want to see bad fit and finish, buy a McLaren. Oh, it's breathtaking. There are shops, you can find them on YouTube, who fix brand new cars. And those hypercars famously have terrible fit. The fitment is bad. I feel like I hear some noise in the background. And then, of course, there's the people who are absolutely quitting Twitter. And I didn't really want to go into... I thought about doing a whole show about Twitter, but I feel like it's been done, and it's going to sort itself out. Some of the complaints I have may or may not even become a reality. The $8 thing, if that's real, then I will absolutely do it. It will put my tweets above other tweets, and maybe that's a good thing. It's definitely good for me. I have no problem with that. I don't know how good it is for smaller, newer channels. I think it'll make it difficult for new personalities, new voices on Twitter to get traction. But we'll see how it goes. Opinion, Why I'm Quitting Twitter by Jason R. O'Day. Jason is not a bad guy. I looked at his other articles. He's not. Never mind the fact that his article starts, I'm not leaving because it's been commandeered by the richest man in the world, the eccentric billionaire who made his fortune peddling unreliable, government-subsidized battery wagons. Ugh, gross. Come on, do better. It's like the whole thing was a ruse to liquidate Tesla stock without tanking its value, but Twitter ironically forced his hand and put him in a tight corner legally. Yeah, you're out your wheelhouse, my friend. No, the rest of it is him saying that he spends too much time on Twitter and it's not productive for him. It's something he feels he needs to quit even before Elon took control. And then you get to, I'm not quitting Twitter, and neither are you. And this is the same thing. He's saying the same thing. Twitter is a time sink. I'm not getting what I want out of it. Well, part of the plan with redesigning it is to make it so you do get what you want. So you do get the content you actually want to see. So that the bots and trolls are lower down. That would be cool. In short, the home I built is heated and lit by Twitter's continually raging dumpster fire. That's no matter what I swear publicly or to myself, I'm almost certainly not leaving the space, and neither are you. So, yeah, there's a lot of people who have threatened to quit, and they keep not quitting. There are a lot of people who threatened to quit Facebook over it being redesigned. There are people who said they were going to leave YouTube because the layout of the thumbnails changed. Those are weird things. And in the end, no one does quit because you just get used to it. Changes are coming. I expect them to be an improvement. I'm going to make sure. I feel like there's a weird echo or something. I expect them to be an improvement. And maybe they will be, and maybe they won't. Yeah, I feel like there's a weird echo. Maybe they will be better, and maybe they won't. But if it's slightly worse, no one's leaving. And if it's slightly better, it's going to grow significantly. The real truth is we're not going to see how much it grows or shrinks necessarily, because the first thing they're going to be doing is purging bots. And I mean purging them. So going from 350 million users, it could be half of them, are pared down or removed. And a lot of people are already praising, well, he's already running it better, or he's already running it worse. There haven't been any changes implemented that we know of. It would not make sense to make a big change this quickly before you get, your feet on the ground. You got to get grounded first. So, with that all said, okay, no echo. Thank you, Scott. Let's jump into the chat. But let me thank my patrons who get early access bonus content and ad-free experience in many cases. And, literally help keep the channel running. I had one of my biggest videos ever not long ago, the one about the semi-trucks. It made $9.83, which is like, it should have made so much more than that. And I looked, there's no restrictions on it. It's a normal length. I don't know. YouTube's just weird that way. It's just weird. But, so let's end the poll. Why are people hating on him? Not hurt feelings is the answer. Not hurt feelings. It's great. So let's see here. Weren't there some celebrities that said they would give up their citizenship when Trump was elected, but they never left either? Not give up their citizenship, but move. There were people who said they would move. And it was only like 2 or 3 of them. And, it's easy to make a claim like that when the polls said that they were probably safe. But people love to do that. People love to do that. Digital Blake Canada, you live and die by the YouTube algorithm as a channel. Yeah, it's... Uh-huh. In the same way that people like to complain, also it feels good to move bowels. Yeah. Oh, so much so. Let me make this bigger so I can see what the hell I'm doing. How is everybody? You guys having fun out there? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go back up a bit here. There, we got a few minutes. Andre, hello from Germany. John Bay usually catches the Saturday edited version. Yeah. And John Yent, sorry, I only watched the long version. Totally fair either way. There are people who prefer different ones, and this is a great way to force me to make something big each week that I actually care about and that I can actually think about all week. So this is good. Some of the footage I've seen of trash being shipped to Asia, I see mostly Canadian. Okay. Yeah. Would you buy cigarettes if the CEO was a wonderful person? People buy drugs, and from what I've heard, the cartels are not run by nice folks. And these folks give them so much of their life. And not just the money, their actual life. Would you buy a Chinese EV given the human rights of the regime? I mean, everything we buy is already from China. But people are able to overlook that. So, well, I would buy stuff made in America if it was more available. Would you? Because there is stuff made in America. And it just costs 4 times as much. So is that a good sign that Tesla thinks they can deliver thousands of more vehicles? Absolutely. Yes, John Bay. Buy the stock, not the car. You'll have more money. Yeah. There are... I've spoken to a number of people who did that. There was a couple I met in Texas at a supercharger who said, my husband wanted to buy a Tesla, and I said, no way, no chance, not going to do it. They're too expensive. So instead, he took the purchase price and he put it in Tesla stock, and we're on our second Model X. So, because they got the cars for free, basically, if you count the gains. Who is this? Thinks Brian has a man crush. I don't think I do. On who? Definitely not on Elon. I respect what he does, but I wouldn't go as far as to say man crush. Buy Exxon stock just to make a profit on your investment. I won't. Don't like the company. That's totally fair. They are poisoning your water and your air. Next to a video where you break down Peter Rawlinson. I don't know so much about him. He is kind of a closed book. And I don't know if there's enough demand for that sort of video. My opinion of him is that the company is too opaque. I can't invest in a company that's so opaque. And and I have it on good authority that they are not buying enough parts to support a ramp over the next 14 months. Little birdie told me that one. Still got a minute or two left. Get your final thoughts in. Yeah. James Stevenson is a great guy. I like him as a person, but also as a content provider. Yeah. And he's so math heavy. It's my jam. Spreadsheets, man. Will Tesla face antitrust problems like the telecoms? No, they're too big. You can have 20% of 1,000 markets without being a monopoly. It's when you have too much of one market. So there's, on the automotive side, they could get to 50-60% of the market and still not be likely to face antitrust concerns. There is no one market where they will be absolutely dominant apart from emerging markets. If they're the only company with smart bots, I mean, you might be able to complain about that. Don't know how effective it would be. Let's see. Did get a comment that Tesla isn't into food needed for Mars mission. Replied that Kimball is working on that. Interesting. Oil companies are worried. Oil companies, $2 billion in profits a day. Oh. Well, they might as well make hay while the sun shines because the sun is shining and solar and wind are catching up, but it's going to be a while. How long before that profit evaporates? GreenPad wants to know. At least a decade, probably longer. And then we'll reach a point where internal combustion cars are so cheap to buy because no one wants them And then they can just charge $7 a gallon. I mean, you're getting the car for $3,000. What do you care? And I don't mean new ones. I mean second hand. Let's see. The cartels are just misunderstood. Domestic manufacturing for the win. It is hard to manufacture profitably in the U.S., and Tesla does it. I would buy American-made stuff, but I like my stuff lasting more than 5 minutes. I haven't been able to find enough American-made stuff to buy to even know how good it is. William wants me to do more Nikola reporting. There's just not a lot of news coming out of Nikola. I did get the question in. JJ was... he didn't push me to, but I knew he would give me a hard time if I didn't. I asked Sandy about Nikola in the interview. Got a good chunk of the interview about that. But we cover it on the Tuesday podcast with Bear's Workshop. Fast Charging with B&B every Tuesday. When there's Nikola news, we cover Nikola news. Am I a comedian as well? My voice is really distinct. I have done some comedy in the past. My voice is really distinct. Yeah, it was fun. In Texas, a guy came up and he said, I thought that was you, and then I heard you talking, and I was like, oh yeah, that's you. That's you. Yeah. If the government complains about bot monopoly, it's just a software update away from fixing that with the Skynet beta. Yeah. They might be in monopoly in driverless ride sharing. Yes, but when you're the first of something, you're not in. It's more about, unless they are actively working to stifle competition, I don't see that being the issue. If the number of profitable gas stations were to dwindle, the gas prices would go up. Yeah, and permitting is tough. A gas station is very expensive. They just need to evolve. They need to have level 2 chargers at movie theaters and level 3-ish charge, slow level 3s at restaurants, so you can park it for an hour, get enough juice. You can't prosecute Musk companies for having a monopoly on genius. Yeah. Speaking of social media image messaging, I was recently contacted by one such company that was trying to fix its clients' Yelp rating. I looked at other reviews and told them a no. Okay. Well, we're about 2 minutes over, so let's go ahead and cap it there. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. What a fun day. Tomorrow, if you're in the Northwest, there is a fairly good chance that I will be at the Tesla Owners Club meetup in Portland. I don't know. Check that out. What did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Leave it in them comments. Subscribe if you haven't. Do all the YouTube things, the button pushing and the comment leaving. And stay tuned. Stay juicy. And I can't wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flop.